Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer Fall 2019, Winter 2020 Randomizer tournament match. We are in the bracket stage, round of 32, and we have a Game 3 here between sab0tender and WaltherIV. I am Slim Kirby, one of your commentators for this match, joined by Nilson Alex 92. How are you doing, and are you pumped for this match coming up here?
I'm doing good, Slim, and I'm super pumped. These two runners, sab0tender and Walter, amazing runners, and I've put up a good show so far, so super pumped to see what will happen. How are you doing, by the way, Slim?
I'm doing just fine. This is a Game 3. This means the winner of this match will be moving on to the top 16 of the tournament. Game 1 was won by Walther. sab0tender switched it up to standard mode for Game 2, was able to achieve victory, and Walther's change for Game 3. Well, how do you feel about Assured Swords? Because that's what we're getting with his setting here.
So Assured Sword is always nice to have because you are always at least guaranteed to have a sword in the beginning. So your routing can change a little bit depending on how you want to do it. I did, however, hear from Walter earlier that he changed from maps and compass shuffle because he didn't like the setting, so Assured Sword it is.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, like you said, it'll definitely make the early game a lot more vanilla. Basically, the same equipment you're going to have for a normal, like, no major glitches run of the vanilla game. So maybe Walter feels like maybe his advantage is straight up execution, so maybe that's why he went that way. We'll have to see how this plays out, though. See if he can kind of minimize the randomizer aspect, because that seems to be what Sabo's been really kind of doing correctly in a lot of his matches, able to take out the reigning champ from last tournament, Andy, in the previous round, and looking to continue his winning for this tournament in this round.
Yeah, most likely. I think sab0tender and Walter is very even when it comes to the skills, but we'll see what happens to it.
Yes, as the uncle decides to quote our good fairy friend from Ocarina of Time, and the first chest we get is just going to be a piece of heart, and we are off to the castle to begin the escape sequence.
So this is always a nice feeling to have with Walter's choose of settings with the Assured Sword. They don't need to think about maybe chain start or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, from what I remember, like, they don't have the sword yet until they actually talk to the uncle here. So, yeah, we get 50 rupees, but in addition to that 50 rupees, we do have the first sword as well. So now we can use that, and we can use them to slice these guards here, get some... Gonna be looking for some bomb drops. That's generally what you want to find in the escape sequence when you do standard mode, because there are 3 chests in the back of escape that you can only get with bombs or the boots. Otherwise, you'll have to come back later on to that same room to get those treasures later on.
Yeah, so if you don't find any bombs from whatever enemy down here, you will know that your other enemy most likely don't get bombs either, since it's the same price pool for the enemy drops.
Yep, that is correct. Well, we do get a fairy drop. Not what we're looking for, though.
At least they have a lot of rupees going out from the escape.
And we've already found one of our unique items in the form of the single arrow.
Another one of those items you don't... Well, one of those useless stuff you don't need to think about later on.
And yeah, as mentioned in the chat, because of the fairy drop that we have in this particular prize pool, I believe there is actually an 8-bomb drop as well contained in this particular pool. So if they keep killing enemies, they may be able to find that at some point.
Yeah, hopefully they will find the bomb so we don't need to go back to the back of escape, but it's a luxury item in seats like this having bombs, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, though, there are plenty of guards in this escape sequence, so there are plenty of opportunities here to find that bomb drop.
There's a small key there, so there's not going to be a small key in Dark Cross. So nothing so far from escape, so nothing that really puts stuff in. Like, you don't have a lot of stuff to do when you're done with escape so far.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, it's looking like we have just like the normal kind of Sphere 1 locations that we would normally have just in regular open mode. So, and there's the 8-bomb drop for Walther there. Sab0's not killing those guards, but does have plenty of chances. I believe the snakes are also part of the prize pool as well, so still has an opportunity to grab those.
Yeah, hopefully sab0 do get some bombs here. Otherwise, that could be a, depending on what's behind that wall, could be huge for Walther now in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't take too long to go back and get the back of escape, especially if you find glove. But if your first glove upgrade happens to be beyond that, that could be a much bigger time sink, because then you have to go through the front all the way to the back again. So I'm going to hope that we'll actually find something here. There it is.
There we go. And there's our first bottle as well, so having a bottle going into Kakariko is going to be nice.
Yep, we'll be able to get that sick kid checked along the way, and it's a decent safety to have kind of at the beginning here too. It's a nice red heart refill.
So let's see what's behind this wall here. Then we got 20 rupees, the map, and boots.
Ooh, well, that's going to be one, actually, technically 2 locations we'll be able to get the item from on our way through the next part of the seed here. So that's definitely a good find. Also, just the constant speed we'll be having throughout the rest of the seed.
A good thing we found those bombs here in escape, otherwise it would take a while. And even more money, so we're not going to have any money, like lack of money situation.
Yeah, definitely not. We have more than enough for the bottle vendor and Zora. Maybe not the exact amount, but still we'll be able to get some extra rupees in Kakariko while we're checking some other items. sab0 actually doing a bit of a divergence here. Not going to check Kakariko. He seems to be doing this quite a bit in his most recent seed. It's going to be kind of checking the mini Moldorm and South Shore stuff first, as Walther does find the lamp inside the Bonkrox location.
That's one nice thing to have, I guess, the lamp, unless you're superstitious about Aghanim seed.
Yeah, a lot of people say it'll be confirmation bias, but, especially in this version of the logic, if something starts pointing very heavily to Aghanim, there is a pretty good chance that you might be doing this. I've seen a lot of Aga seeds in this version and in this tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's 50 rupees in the Thieves drop down, and also 10 bomb drop at, well, 10 bombs at the mushroom spots. We're not going to lack bombs.
Definitely not. And there's 50 more rupees, so we could buy some more on top of that. So, wow.
Ooh, Fire Rod. Red Boomerang, the bow, and a heart piece. So Eastern Palace could be a thing.
Yeah, it could definitely be a thing, and that's honestly something really good to get early by taking this divergence. That will actually be a potential play that Sabo could make and could get an advantage for choosing that direction next.
Yeah, exactly. And Walter finding Cane of Samaria and the mushroom in Blind's hideout.
Yeah, we are finding a lot of unique items here. Do get a quick map check. I did see Eastern and Hera. Eastern, we have a red crystal, and Hera, we have a normal crystal. I did not see what we had over at Desert, though, unfortunately.
I think it was pendant.
Oh, okay then. And there is the Moon Pearl inside the well. Wow, we are just finding all types of unique items so far in these Spear 1 locations.
It's pretty loaded here, starting. There's a glove as well in the Kakariko well.
Wow. Meanwhile, sab0tender doing a water walk so we could get some of these kind of out of logic checks here. And also, Walter does find another bottle of almost vanilla, just with a B inside instead at the bottle vendor.
Yeah, no issue with getting the item from Sidkid. And there is a Titan Smiths in a chicken hut.
That is Dark World access for Walter right there. And there's the cape for sab0tender.
This is turning out to be a very fast seed so far, so I wonder what's going to cause them an issue here later on. So if you go to Kakariko, you have immediate, like, you can just go to Dark World if you want to, but I think we're not going to do that for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with what you found in the South Shore, because, yeah, Sabo's immediately taken that bow that he found, and he's heading over to Eastern Palace, which, honestly, good place to check. You have Sahasrarul's Closet here, which is 3 items. Didn't really pay off that much, but there's also 3 items in Eastern Palace. We can complete a Crystal Dungeon. You know, Sabo doesn't have any Dark World items yet, so honestly, he's thinking that this could be the big play. Little does he know that once he goes to Kakariko, he'll have that Dark World access anyway. But even just pulling out the hammer in Eastern, I think, would be a huge advantage, because then you have kind of a greater range of where you can enter that Dark World from.
Yeah, exactly. And Desert Palace was indeed a blue pendant, so we might not need to go to Desert, but you never know with seeds like this.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Walter is going to maybe go to Eastern Palace as well when he picks up all his stuff here. Can't really see him not skipping out completely. There's a flute in Eastern Palace.
I would say that's logical mountain access, which it would be for Sabo right now, but we have found the lamp as well and the gloves, so technically we have both ways to get up the mountain now.
We're just one medallion away from opening up Misery Mire already.
That's insane.
I think Walter might do, instead of going to Hobo here, I think Walter might go for Sora and Pyramid Fairy, since he has the Moon Pearl.
Yep, I think that is probably going to be his play as well. Oh no, looks like he is still going to be getting that cape as well.
Yeah, you wanna get that cape, at least we can be, for now at least, safe that Aghanim is not required yet so far. Oh, so he stored his
Okay, yeah.
water walk.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was wondering like if he lost it or something, but no, like yeah, he stored it so he could get that through fake flippering and then go over here using the water walk to potentially get the Zora's Ledge item as well.
Also, did sab0tender skip the vanilla big key chest and just go for Argus? Not Argus, Armus Knights.
The Argus
Could be a little
Knights.
bit risky.
He may have just noted. He may have counted his items, and maybe he thinks it could be worth gambling, or maybe he had just the 2 remaining.
There's the hook shot.
Good play by sab0tender there.
You don't want to miss out on a hook shot this early on.
Definitely not. That's even more stuff we can take care of on Death Mountain now.
And when sab0tender goes to Kakariko here to activate his flute, he's going to get all the good stuff to check out Hookshot Cave and all that up on Death Mountain.
Yeah, definitely. First off, you're going to pick up this lamp that's over here in the Bonk Rocks. And Walther actually doing one of the things I actually like doing when it comes to kind of these Southern Light World checks. Actually managing to skip the dam for their first visit so they can actually combine it with Agina's Cave. It's a really nice way to route that in because instead of leaving just one item behind, you're kind of giving a little more weight to that area. So you just go down, check the dam, and then check Agina. So that's 3 items instead of just 1 if you just go to the isolated place of Agina's Cave.
Oh yeah, for sure. Normally, sometimes there's some good stuff in Agina's Cave, and it can be like your place, your last location, like let's say a hammer.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when you don't have any access for desert, because at least desert would give another reason to check Agina's Cave as well. But since we don't have that book yet, that's unfortunately not going to be on the card. So just kind of giving the dam a way to kind of put this in here as well is kind of nice. Fortunately, just a red ruby though.
So I think for now, Walter is going to head to that direction now, to Eastern Palace.
Yep, and looks like sab0tender is going to be going through Stacked Rico here to get all of the items that Walther found earlier. So going to pick up the cane, the mushroom, both mitts, the moon pearl.
I think it would be super interesting to just see somebody else. If we get a medallion soon, just go to Mire very early. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting play, for sure. Again, like, Mire's not super big on item volume. It's got 2 items and then additional 2 items on the outside. 1 more if we happen to get the mirror. But still, if the game is pointing you in that direction, not necessarily a bad place to check, especially if it ends up being a crystal. So, could be a valuable play for sure. So there we go. Sab0tender activates his flute, and it'll be very interesting to see how, once he finishes up with this Kakariko, what he decides to do. Because Dark World access is definitely open on the table for him after he picks up these mitts right here. But he can also check the mountain. He can make that check of the Mire area as well, as you mentioned. So he definitely has some options on the table.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the play would be going up to the mountain at this point because there's so many chests up there. There's Paradox Cave and Hookshot Cave and Superman Cave. There's just so much you can get up there, and at the same time you could just get stuff that you don't need as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with all the stuff we got in Kakariko this early on and South Shore.
Yeah, the one thing that would kind of deter me from making that mountain check immediately, despite the fact that it has all those items up there, is that we don't have a way into Tower of Herod just yet, because we don't have the mirror, we don't have the hammer. So, it might be... See if we can maybe pull out that hammer a little bit before we go up there, but again, the hammer could just easily be up there as well, so it's a really hard call to make for sure.
Oh yeah, it looks like sab0tender wants to check that mushroom.
Oh, hey, might as well. You got it. Unfortunately, though, Justin ended up getting some bombs here at the potion shop, and unfortunately, since he did get rid of that mushroom, he will be unable to perform the fake powder glitch later, so that could always come into play. You never know.
Well, yeah, it's kind of... Sometimes that fake powder is just... comes in handy.
Hmm.
But it is the mountain player for sab0tender, and I can't blame him with all the stuff we have open up here.
Yeah, earlier when I was thinking, I wasn't even considering the fact of Dark Death Mountain, but yeah, with those mitts and that hookshot, that is all of Super Bunny and all of Hookshot Cave too, so yeah, this is definitely the play. There's again, 7 plus 4, that's 11, plus 2 more, 13. And then you have, the item Sabo's getting right now, so there's, around 15 items we can at least get information on or get right now.
And you don't know, you might have stuff when you're done up in the mountain that just gives you access to pretty much clear out all the dungeons, because you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the hookshot for Walter and his first crystal.
Okay, just some bombs and rupees in the lower chest in Paradox. Walther giving us a new check here, just a piece of heart from King's Tomb. Because, yeah, this was something that Sabo could not quite get because didn't have the mitts when he started back from Sanctuary, so that could have actually ended up being something. And now we'll see where Walter ends up going. Meanwhile, in Upper Paradox, we don't have anything big yet from my recollection, just... Nope, just a lot of hearts.
Absolute trash.
Yeah,
but
hearts and ammo refills.
I mean, you do need a health sooner or later before you're going into... Just with green mail going into the Dark World is not fun with 4 hearts, 5 hearts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one thing I like to measure when it comes to health is basically in terms of what we'd have in the vanilla game. And in the vanilla game, like you'd have 3 dungeons completed, and you'd also have the sanctuary heart on top of the 3 hearts. So normally you'd have about like at least 7 health going in the dark world. So anything less than that, plus the fact that you have fighter sword and not like master sword, like you really go into the dark world very unprepared for the trials that you have there. Meanwhile, we do have another pendant at Thieves Town. We have the green pendant at Dark Palace. I did not see where the other red crystal was, though.
And not Mire. Swamp is apparently...
Swamp. Okay, then.
Yeah. We need bambos for Mystery Mire.
Hmm. So now sab0tender going to be checking the Super Bunny Cave.
I haven't really found anything so far.
Well, Master Sword is nice. We do need some sword upgrades for the end game, so that's probably the best thing they've found so far, honestly.
It is indeed the only good thing we found up here so far. So. Turrock medallion is Ether.
Ether, yep. Okay, so let's see if Hookshot Cave decides to pay out today. It's paying rupees, but...
Yeah, I was going to say it. Yeah, it is technically paying. Yeah, yeah, it sure did.
Oh, man.
So the mountain was pretty much a bust at this point.
Yeah, looks like the game really wanted us to go to Dark World instead, apparently. But yeah, we shouldn't sleep totally on that sword, I suppose, but... Again, like, the sword itself doesn't exactly, like, move us towards any sort of extra progression right now, and it's something we could have easily picked up on our way to, like, Ganon's Tower, an absolute worst-case scenario.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess having Master Sword going to Skullwoods is pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah, not a fan of Fighter Sword Mothula myself. I'm sure these guys could handle it, but I would be happy to get that sword.
Yeah, same here. It's not a pretty fight doing Moth with a fighter sword.
And it looks like sab0tender is going to be checking the back first, because on the opportunity that he finds both items back here, doesn't have to worry about checking the front whatsoever and can save some time making those checks. So that is what he's doing here.
I mean, it's pretty nice that we have a little bit of a safety here with that blue potion that Sabu picked up.
Yeah, and we also have that the red potion that we got from the very beginning of the game too, so that's also going to be pretty helpful. Taking a death warp right there, because we do not have the mirror, unfortunately, so that's the fastest way back to the beginning.
So let's see if there's actually any progression here in Skull Woods. I mean, I think it pretty much points to at least Skull Woods, at least finish it with that early Fire Rod.
Yeah, definitely. So Sabo's going to go in for his fight here. Does need to be careful. Does not. Okay, he's going to use the red potion, which I think is a good call. Only use the blue if you absolutely need to.
Moth is not really playing nice here, but there goes Moth down.
And yep, you'll be able to save that nice blue potion for later for another part of the seed, which is good. And yeah, that's going to give sab0tender his second crystal. Unfortunately, did not find any items in the back of Skull Woods, so we'll have to go through the front. But getting through the front's pretty quick, so not really a whole lot of time, if any, lost at all. So does manage to get through that moth fight, which is probably the most important thing.
I guess the most perfect thing to pick up here would be like a hammer out of Skull Woods. If you're thinking about maybe dipping Pendant Thieves Town, but hopefully we don't need to do that today.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly a pretty good location for the big key. Going to be able to just do the bomb jump right here, grab it, and then head on in a counterclockwise formation through the rest of Skull Woods.
There's one item out of Skull Woods, Piece of Heart.
And there's the other item, which is also a piece of heart.
So nothing useful in this dungeon either with that early Fire Rod.
Yeah, and Walther's actually going to be going straight for the front of Skull Woods first. I think he will actually get to save a little bit of time here if he checks everything, because then he'll be able to skip the big key chest and also the chest under the bridge. So that's going to be nice for him. Although he will be having to come back for that other piece of heart, so maybe not, but still.
Yeah, a little bit annoying that you don't have a small key there, but
yeah,
it's not a big deal.
So now sab0tender going to be checking out the village of Outcasts. Just came from checking Bumper Cave, which was not going to be anything important there.
We are finding a lot of Piece of Hearts here.
We indeed are. And of course, we use one bomb to get 3 more in the brewery, so nothing there. And Sabo's gonna forego on Thieves Town right now. I think you know, it is a pendant, so we don't necessarily have to complete Thieves Town. There's still 4 items back there, but we also don't have the hammer yet, which that would potentially block an item later on in the dungeon. So Sabo is gonna probably wait till he maybe gets that hammer before he makes a decision on whether or not he wants to dip into that dungeon.
I kind of like that, but at the same time, it feels like you just see them always dip in and get the 4 first chests, and then you skip out. But interesting play here.
I wonder if maybe Sabo's thinking that he needs like kind of a play like that because the mountain didn't really pay off too much for him. That's one thing, especially in these races. You're getting to the top 16. You're playing for that, and you got to think that little calls like that could make the difference. So that might be what is on his mind right now.
Sometimes you have to play it a little bit different, especially like you're saying, this is game 3 after all, so sometimes you just need to switch your gaming style, play a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of stuff we can do along the way as well. Obviously, we grab the frog, so we can complete that quest in a little bit. We still haven't even seen Height Cave yet, and that's what Sabo's going to be checking next. There's 5 items in here, so there's definitely some value to going kind of around the overworld and checking some of these spots.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It could just be that the hammer is inside of Hype Cave.
Let's see. We got another bottle inside Hype Cave. And the mirror.
Hey, there's the mirror.
Okay, that'll give him a couple more things to check. We can also go inside Tower of Hera now with that mirror.
Okay, we open up a little bit here now, so there's definitely some options to do here.
Yeah, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking the blacksmith back to the hut so we can get that item from there. From there, we'll see where Sabo goes. The graveyard ledge is open. The cave south of the grove is open with the mirror. Could be bold and check the first item chest in Swamp Palace if you really wanted to, although that's not a very attractive prospect right now.
I mean, we do need a flippers for that as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you can fake flipper inside of Swamp Palace.
No, not yet. Not yet, unfortunately. I'm sure people are still trying to find the puzzle for that.
Oh, it will most likely happen sooner or later.
But another dungeon that we can actually access now with that mirror is Desert Palace.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But looks like Sabo is going to be focusing more on, crystal dungeons first, which makes sense. That's what you're ultimately trying to get here, so you better put a kind of a higher priority on that stuff first.
And especially since you just can full clear a crystal dungeon, it's just better to do it. And since you don't even know what kind of medallion you need for Mire at this point, and you might get one in here.
Well, this is where Sabo's choice to skip out on Thieves' Town could come into play, because Walther is going inside. First chest is the Cane of Berna, which not really that relevant at this point since we already have the cape. So nothing yet, but there are still 3 other items here that could give Walther a significant advantage.
Yeah, this could be the play to do here if Walther finds anything, like something in here. Nothing in the beginning, but yeah, he's got the Death Warp here.
Okay, so that was only 2 of the 4 items in Thieves' Town. That's gonna help out Sabo a little more, because Sabo's kind of following those breadcrumbs. Gonna follow that mirror to see where it'll take him. Did find a piece of heart in Hera. Oh, little too close to the ledge right there, unfortunately. So gonna have to get that rematch in with Moldorn.
Oh, look at that! We got Ether for Turtle right now. Not that we can access Turtle Rock yet, because we still need that hammer, but... Here's a check sab0tender can do that Walter didn't do. He can check checkerboard cave.
Mm-hmm. You can check checkerboard cave. You can also get up to the desert area as well. So we'll definitely be able to get some more items here. And yeah, it looks like desert is going to be the next play. Going to check the ledge first, which was just 10 arrows.
Hey!
Oh, hello!
What a place to put the book at. Like, that's a perfect spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's also how you get the book in the vanilla game, just not here.
I guess that's a little bit annoying for sab0tender since he's been at the Tower of Hera recently. So he can,
yeah.
like, that's another trip up to the tablet.
Yeah, that is a little obnoxious, and...
Walter's
oh boy,
setting up for a... Oh. And he nails it.
So there we go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't think touching... Can he make that?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it before, but...
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay,
Oh!
yeah, he made it. There we go.
That was pretty slick. I actually didn't think that was possible to do, but
Yeah, I can admit that I've never seen that before, so that was a nice treat to watch there. So here's the thing, what Walther's doing right now, technically not out of logic because of the fact that you could access this by beating Aga Tower. This will just kind of skip the Aga Tower requirement. But yeah, there are some potential for items here in Palace of Darkness, so that could be what Walther's thinking, and that could actually be a pretty big play for him right now.
I mean, if the hammer is inside of pod right now, we don't have the flippers, it is an Aghanim seed.
Yeah, exactly.
So the question is, does sab0tender know how to do all these fancy stuff? Ooh, there's an ice rod.
And the funny thing about that ice rod is we do know where that medallion is to open Turtle Rock, so...
I only that hammer away from opening it up. So this is interesting. sab0tender is dipping into Thieves Town now. Is he going to do the whole play, like the whole dungeon, or will he just do the front of Thieves?
I mean, I imagine that he's probably thinking the whole dungeon, because I think at this point, like, the only other option for him is just, you know, making that Aga play, unless he does know the same technique that Walther used. So yeah, he probably wants to try to put off doing Aga Tower as much as possible.
Yeah, you don't want to do Aga Tower now at 43 minutes in, and I mean, even if you need to, he knows that Walter most likely have done it, or should have done it if it's like that, but...
Yep, sab0tender is continuing on, so we're going to be seeing, at the very least what the third item is. That fourth item kind of up for debate right now, just because we don't know if it's going to be locked in that big chest or not.
Nothing really inside of pod right now. A lot of small keys, but nothing else so far.
Well, that ice rod was pretty huge, but
we can't really use it right now.
Yeah, he can't use it right now. That's the thing.
I mean, I guess you could do it if you want to go and clear out Lamolas.
True. Oh, there's item number 3, which is a heart container.
There's half magic inside of pod, but nothing else. So it's not in pod.
Catfish? Pyramid? I guess we still have a few things over here on this side of Lake Hylia anyway.
Otherwise, that book that sab0tender picked up might be very useful.
Okay, well, sab0tender did luck out. The small key is going to be inside the big chest, which means don't have to worry about leaving an item behind here.
It's probably something ridiculous like the flippers here on blind.
Well, just a piece of heart on the pyramid.
And we have heart
Just
piece.
a piece of heart. Wow.
Where is the progression for these two runners?
It's either going to be behind that book, as you mentioned. It could be that one chest, that one item we can get in Swamp Palace. That's I think that's all we got at this point.
The fun part is we can't even access Swamp. We don't have flippers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I keep thinking that. But
I mean,
okay,
I
what
guess
does
we
Catfish have? Shield. Oh my gosh.
purple chest
too.
and K45. We haven't checked those two, so totally forgot about the purple chest.
And yeah, this will allow him to also, again, check K45, allow him to also check the Bombos tablet as well. So this will give him a couple of checks here.
Well, it's not K45 at least.
It is not. So yeah, do not fret if you're scared that sab0tender just left the chest behind there. What he's going to do is he's going to actually mirror right to where the purple chest guy is going to be. And the memory of the game still thinks he has the purple chest because it's still, like, technically on screen, I guess, or in memory or whatever. So it's going to basically allow him to pick up this item here.
Oh, flippers in the purple chest.
Okay, so I think I know what the next play is going to end up being.
Ice Palace.
Oh, well, no hammer, though. Oh my gosh.
Or there's a hammer on Bumbo's tablet that we just picked up.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, now Swamp is the play.
So this puts right now Sabo in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, let's very quickly take a look at this. All Sabo needs for his quote-unquote go mode is just the Bombos medallion, which we still haven't found, and the Ice Rod, which we know is in Palace of Darkness. If he finds the Bombos here in Swamp and then goes over to Pod, which would be a decent location to go now that he can full clear it. Oh, but it is a pendant though. That's a thing, huh?
Yeah. I think for sab0tender, it's going to take a while before he even thinks about dipping a pendant pod if he only has one item left.
Yeah, man, this is interesting. This is interesting.
I mean, Walter will most likely go to Desert, I think, when he's done here, so he can get his book. Or maybe he doesn't. We never know with these runners.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing that is kind of helping Walther out here is, like, at least with Bombos, like, he knows he can combine Purple Chest with it, and that's going to be 2 of his items right there. There's really nothing really kind of pushing Sabo to Pod at this current point in time. And, he might even consider possibly gambling Turtle Rock for the Ice Rod before he even considers checking Pod.
I mean, I would blame him if he did it, because we see it so many times, like, Ice Rod on, like, Blazer Ridge of all the places, so...
Yeah, exactly.
But look where Walter's going right now. Walter is heading for Desert Bells.
He is, so he will pick up his book, and that is one of the pieces of the puzzle he needs to kind of get this seed going in the next leg of progression here.
So I would say that sab0tender right now is in a very good position in this race. It's just that Ice Rod it's going to come down to, I think, in Pod at this point, because I don't think he's going to go to Pod the first. Like, it's going to be like, oh, I need to go to Pod.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We do find the Tempered Sword, which is something pretty nice to have. So.
Yeah, especially when you're going to Argus, like just picking that up before the Argus fight.
I think the one thing that could, well, I guess not necessarily, because it's not the TR medallion. I was thinking if, like, maybe Bombos was on Helmasaur King or something. Like, maybe that would, like, kind of help Sabo a bit more with that Ice Rod hunt, but...
I mean, it could happen.
It could, yeah, very well. And again, when you have that Turtle Rock opened, it's just, it's very inviting. Like, there's 5 items, 6 with Mimic Cave. Gotta be thinking about it at some point.
Looks like Walter is going for that purple chest play, I think, at least. So this is going to be good news for Walter. If he's doing that play, because then he can just check Bambo's tablet as well and get his hammers. So then they will be pretty equal.
So looking at what Sabo has on his dungeon completion right now, probably going to be thinking about Ice Palace next. But first, not going to leave an item behind here in Swamp, so going to go back in and finish up what he has here.
Yeah, I think he... How many items did he find? Like... He found like 4 items?
I know he did find the compass, so there's definitely something on the left side for sure.
Ooh, this could be bad for Walter. Looks like he's going to set up fake powder, so...
I thought he turned
Yeah,
in the mushroom, though.
He hard reset. So...
Oh, he hard reset. Okay. That's okay. I didn't see that.
It could be bad because he will not be able to route in the other stuff that he needs to do, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is a bit... Oh! Looks like he is grabbing the purple chest, though, so...
Yeah, but he's using all his magic to jump down, so he will not be able to use that portal.
Oh, right, okay.
For the Bambus tablet.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you don't need magic for the Bombos tablet, you just need to use the book.
Yeah, but he will not be able to go up there. He doesn't have the portal to mirror out to the tablet.
Oh, okay. Now I'm saying it. Yeah, because he can't use the portal that's near Swamp. That's right. Okay, yeah.
So this could be very bad because now he has the flippers. So he might jump into Ice Palace without the hammer.
Ooh. He is going back. Yeah, he's going back, so he's gonna at least get... I think he is considering that before he does anything else.
Well then we're in a good spot here for Walter.
Of course, he will, lose that little bit of time, of course, but, not a... At least he's getting it immediately, and it's going to be a very, very important find for him.
Looks like he might be... Yeah, he's going to check Graveyard Ledge.
Oh, yeah, Graveyard Ledge. Oh, and apparently we had another sword up here, so... All 4 swords have been found.
Pretty decent to have all your swords able. Okay, so this is going to be Walter going down to K45, I assume, unless he wants to dip into the rest of Thieves Town, which is just skipping out on.
Okay, so far in Ice Palace we found a heart container, so there's still 2 other items in here. Unfortunately, not getting the luxury of go-moding this dungeon this time around, but That's the way the cards fall sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Palace is not that bad either way.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it personally. It's pretty fast with all the bomb jumps you can do. So Walter picking up his hammer. So Walter only needs bombos for go mode.
That's right. It all depends on where that Bombos is going to end up being at this point.
I think for Walter, it would be perfect if it's in Ice Palace that the sab0tender is currently checking through,
Yeah.
because then it would be go mode really fast. But I think chat is having a pretty good point here. It could just be in Turtle Rock at this point.
And I mean, Turtle Rock would be interesting. It wouldn't be like the worst thing for sab0tender if it's up there, because then, like, you know, he's not going to be able to complete it anyway. Then he can at least like go down, complete Mire, look for Ice Rod, and then come back up and then go straight to GT after finishing TR for the last dungeon. But again, if it appears any earlier than that, like, Walter's going to make up a lot of time just kind of, you know, going through the rest of the game. He doesn't have to go back to pod like Sabo has to go to pod to get the Ice Rod. So really just depends on where that Bombos ends up being.
Yeah, anything can happen at this point. It's anybody's still, because we're still missing. Well, sab0tender is missing 2 items, Walter's missing 1, so tricky situation right now. I think sab0tender have found all the items in Ice Palace, right? Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, it's going straight for the end. So okay, nice cold stare fight for Sabo. Last Puff kind of got away from him a little bit, but was able to, you know, get the boss down without taking any damage, really. So gets that 5th crystal, only 2 more remaining.
2 more remaining, so the question is, where will sab0tender go now on his hunt for Bombos and Ice Rod?
He's jumping in the water. He's...
Oh, Pyramid Fairy.
That's right. Yeah, we have Pyramid Fairy on the table now.
This could be very good for sab0tender if he does Pyramid Fairy and then goes to pod right afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pod is the closest dungeon from you at that point, so... The thing is, though, if he gets that Bombos and decides, oh hey, I can get into Turtle Rock now, could make that play.
he could do Mire and then just go up to Rock and gambling on the
Right.
ice rod being there, but it's a pretty huge gamble at that point. Here we go, Pyramid Fairy. Do you have what we need?
Nope. It is not the answer today.
And Sabu's going for a catfish. I mean, where would you go if you're sab0tender after doing this? Would you go to Turtle Rock when you've done catfish if you don't want to go to pod?
I really don't know. Looks like he is pulling out that mirror, see where he's gonna potentially float to. Actually, he hasn't done any of the Zora area yet, so he's doing that first.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's why he has so many rupees. So, Slim, Shad is pointing out a fun thing here.
Oh boy.
Pedestal.
Yep, I kind of figured when he said chat's pointing out something that pedestal was somehow involved. But yeah, that's very true. It's a good possibility at this point. I mean, we have pendants available to us. That is a location where bombos could be.
And Walter's going to do that Pyramid Fair play now as well.
And sab0tender is going to pod.
This is exactly what sab0tender needs to do. Here's the fun part: when Walter is doing Pyramid Fair and sab0tender gets his ice rod, they will have the exact same equipment and all the crystals together, so it will come down to who finds the bombos first.
Actually, not quite. Walter still needs to complete Ice Palace.
Well, I assume he will go to Ice Palace when he's done with Pyramid Fairy.
That's fair, but yeah.
Ooh. Well, ooh. Imagine, it could be on the green pendant that bombos. So this could be bad as well. There's the ice rod for Sabu.
There's the mirror, and there's the exit. Okay, he's going up the Turtle Rock.
I think Walter's going for... Is he doing Turtle Rock?
Well, it looks like he's trying to, but the Dead Rocks are being kind of mean about it. But that's Dead Rocks for you.
Worst enemy in the game.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, both of our runners here looks like they're both making the Turtle Rock play. And as we pointed out, like if they both find it, Sabo will definitely have the lead and the advantage because Walther does need to go back down and complete Ice Palace in addition to Mire. But still, honestly, I feel like at this point, this is the correct play for both of them. Just, we can complete this dungeon. A lot of items in here. It's more than likely that Bombos will turn up here.
Yeah, most likely. There's always something in Turtle Rock. Or Mimic Cave, for that matter. I mean, we do have Spike Cave and Ether Tablet as well when we're done with Turtle Rock. Well, let's see. We got Turtle Rock, and we only need Bombos. So if this is Bombos in here, I would say sab0tender is in a huge lead.
Yep, at the very least, an entire crystal ahead of Walther right now, so that's definitely going to be a big advantage that Walther will have to overcome. And as shiny as that gold sword looks, and, it will save a little bit of time here and there, I just don't see that being an entire dungeon's worth of time save.
Yeah, something major needs to happen for sab0tender if that is a thing. At that point, if that happens.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be coming down to a potential where, if Bombos just so happens to not be in here, and then, one of the runners makes a Hail Mary on a specific play where it ends up being. And, of course, Ganon's tower routing could also be a factor as well. So, those are the big things that could still come into play, but advantage is definitely in Sabo's court right now.
I think for Walther, he needs something like a green pendant, like going back to pod, if they don't find the item they need.
Yeah, because Walther's essentially cleared out pod at this point. All he needs to do is beat the boss, so that green pendant would be, a lot faster for him to get. So that would definitely help him out a tremendous deal, because Go Mode Ice Palace, not very long whatsoever, so we'll be able to get through that pretty quickly. But of course, if he goes to Ice Palace next for his next check, that could also be kind of problematic, because, again, he'll be essentially breaking even in time spent in that dungeon with Sabo.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have done pretty much all the overworld locations otherwise, so there's not much left to do in this seed.
Yeah, everything shy of like finding out what's on pedestal, and of course the two checks we have on Death Mountain in the form of Spike Cave and Ether Tablet.
I mean, even if it's on pedestal, sab0tender has the lead that he did Thieves Town as well. So.
Yeah, that's also a good point. They are both in the same tube right there.
A little bit of a high five here for the runners. Haven't been this synced up since the beginning of in the escape part. Oh, this is not good for Walther.
It is actually kind of funny. Like, Walther did show, I think, the more optimal way to check these two different locations that they're both checking. So what Walther did is he went inside the entrance to Turtle Rock to check the big chest first, because, if you check that and what you're looking for is in that chest, you save a little time without, doing all those transitions to Mimic Cave, which Sabo just did. But again, as we pointed out already a couple minutes ago, is that Sabo still has a pretty good-sized advantage heading to the end game of this seed regardless. So, not going to be a major time save, but it's definitely a cool time save that it actually came up and actually was relevant in this particular seed here.
Yeah, both runners actually pretty much in sync when they come into getting in go mode. Walter, at least bright that he got in go mode first.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Hey.
and there's silvers right there.
And of course, the small key is in the last chest here.
Careful, Sabo. I think he does have a fairy still, but still need to be wary of those lasers sometimes.
Yeah, both two runners being very low in health here.
Ooh, that was close.
There goes Trinix down for Walter, and sab0tender is almost done as well.
Yep, not too far behind here in terms of taking down this giant three-headed turtle. Ooh, gets down to half a heart, but does pull it off.
Good thing that sab0tender picked up that blue mail on Lake Healy Island.
Yeah, definitely.
So Walter got Mire and Ice Pals left, and sab0tender just needs to go to Mire.
So yeah, just a very quick reminder of what's going on here. This is a game of the top 32 of the bracket stage of the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. This is a game 3 between sab0tender and Walther IV. Winner of this game will move on to the top 16. Game 1 was won by Walther. sab0tender brings it back with a standard mode for Game 2, manages to win that in a very, very close victory. And here we are in Game 3. For all the marbles, winner advances, loser is unfortunately done with the tournament. Both showing tremendous randomizer prowess today. Definitely big shout out to both runners for putting on the show here today, and we're heading to the end of the seed, so let's definitely see what's going on.
Both these two runners have been really, putting up really good entertainment, so definitely check them out.
Yeah, both are very well-seasoned runners of Link to the Past Randomizer. They've both competed in various tournaments over the past year or two. Their names you'll definitely see a lot on the dailies and weeklies and all the other just randomizer races that happen. So both very skilled and both showing why in today's race.
Yeah, definitely just showing that being top 32 and just going to top 16 just shows how great these runners are. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a pleasure to just watch them.
So we have still not found the big key in Mire just yet.
Yeah, no Godmire today, as they so call it sometimes. But at least we're finding the items in here, so we get to see some piece of hearts here.
Still no big key find. It's either going to be in this next chest coming up here or the vanilla big key location, which is the location you tend to want to avoid just because it's behind a couple of torch rooms and also about a 15-second transition. Maybe not that long, but a long transition nonetheless. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that as he grabs the big key from the chest there and is moving on to Vitreous as Walther picks up his 6th crystal.
So they're not that far away from each other, so it's going to be pretty close after all. Just small details that made Sabo get a little bigger of a lead here.
Honestly, like, I mean, obviously, like, you could have made the argument that, you know, Walther should have gone to Turtle Rock a lot sooner, but there is, again, so much on the table in the, you know, the bottom part of the world that it just made more sense to kind of clean that out for a while. Honestly, I think one of the biggest advantages sab0tender had in this was kind of the route he took at the beginning. He was able to find the flute a lot sooner, which kind of got him kind of that earlier game advantage in terms of navigation and getting around the world map and stuff of that nature. That was honestly, that's about probably the difference you're seeing right now, if anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just the way he routed in the flippers and hammer together.
Oh yeah, that definitely.
Much faster way. I mean, it could still happen. They're in the same dungeon still, so it's not that much that really. They're real close to each other, so.
Yeah. I mean, they're both in Mire right now, the final dungeon, or the final crystal dungeon, anyways. So, GT routing could be a factor here.
And talking about GT, sab0tender picked up his 7th crystal, so I think that is when we were playing a game, right?
Yes, we'll probably be seeing some numbers here in a bit. Those numbers are just lovely individuals trying to guess the numbered location of where the Ganon's Tower big key is going to end up being. If you want to get your own guess in to what number location that'll be, 1 through 22, go ahead and play along. It's always fun to see where that big key will end up being. And I guess should mention, because it is still kind of close-ish, that it'll be based on when Sabo finds it, not when Walther finds it. So whenever that is for sab0tender, that is the location that it's going to be.
So Slim, do you have a favorite spot where you want to find a big key?
That's a good question. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think it's gonna be behind the Armos Knights. The Ice Armos Knights. Or the Ice Argus Knights, as we said earlier.
Oh yeah, when I slipped out the names. I think I want to have it a little bit closer, so I'm going to say tile room.
Okay.
And just hope nobody gambles in the beginning here like sab0tender.
something is missing. Maybe I think he knows that the big key is missing, so don't need to tell him that game. And
Well,
there it is.
The key has one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Chest number 1, 3 bombs. Second chest, 3 bombs. So nothing on the right side so far.
There's also a key on the torch, which not the key we're looking for, but still good to know.
Still no big key here.
Meanwhile, Walter going in for the Vitreous fight on his end.
Good thing that they found silver arrows earlier, making that Vitreous fight a little bit faster. Random room coming up, sab0tender. The only room, like the room you only will see when you play Randomizer. Hey, Mire shield.
Okay, so nothing in the left side of Ganon's tower.
Might be behind those ice Argus.
Yep, could be. You know, if Walter makes a decision to, like, you know, grab some small keys from the left and then go right, that could kind of impact the game right now, I'd say, because he is coming up to Ganon's tower shortly.
Walter's still in it, since sab0tender haven't found a big key yet, so it shouldn't rule it out.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got? Got some arrows, rupees. The powder, it is on the right side, either tile room or the 4 chests and compass room.
I mean, always nice to see some safeties of the powder.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Walter is setting up for the Dark Magician strategy, or
That's what I'm wondering. We'll see what he does after he pulls off these 4 items here.
Yep.
He's grabbing the mirror.
There's the big key.
There's the big key in compass room. So yeah, Walther did save like a couple of minutes by making this play right here, so definitely catching up some time. Sabo is already on his way up the tower though, so still has the advantage. Walter will get maybe a few seconds here and there with that gold sword through the gauntlet, but it's, you know, still Sabo's race to lose at this point.
It is Sabo's to lose right now, but we did see in the game 2 between these two that the AGA 2 fight was actually the main difference between these two.
That's true, yeah, very much so.
There we go. Walter picks up his big key, so he's not that far behind right now. He definitely gained a few minutes here.
Yes, he very much did. So this is gonna be a nail biter here. This is pretty much where you need to kind of get those nerves in check if you're feeling any. Just focus on your execution.
If you're like checking that race room to see if anybody have finished, yeah, I don't think you should do it right now if you're doing the climb.
Probably not.
Walter do have the pleasure of having half magic going up the climb here, so could save him a little bit, I guess. But a nice land mobile fight.
Yeah, really nice land mobile fight for Sabo. Does have to watch his health. Now he does have that powder that you mentioned that could actually come into play at the top for a nice re-heal near the top, but needs to actually make it there, so we'll need to be careful kind of climbing and going through these next few rooms.
I think Sabo also picked up a bottle with a fair in, so he should be okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does have that still too. But even just that fairy animation, that's a couple of seconds that'll he'll be down if it happens.
Oh yeah, that's true. I almost forgot about that. Every little second here counts.
Mm-hmm. I just love how he just like walks casually across the spikes. It's like whatever.
Ooh, half a heart here.
Yeah, he is down to one half heart here, or half heart.
Be aware of the spike here.
Okay, he made it. He is most certainly gonna use this heal right here. Yeah, this is fine. That's what he's probably thinking.
He's playing with our emotions here, sab0tender.
Ooh, careful.
There we go. I actually think Walter made up a little bit of time here.
I think he did too, yeah. Walther is showing some great execution here. Keeping those emotions in check.
Here we go. Here's the AGA fight that actually cost Walter last game between these two. So let's see if sab0tender gets a better pattern here and can keep his nerves intact.
It's a 1 to start out with. This looks like a good one right here.
I think that was a double.
Ooh, does miss the hits there. 2 more. Just 1 more hit to go.
There you go. sab0tender is done with AGA 2 while Walter is almost at AGA 2, so one Ganon fall, I guess, could switch things over.
That'll change it definitely.
I think that was triple for Walter.
But he also misses 1 there too.
Walter's done with Aga 2, while sab0tender is in, what is it, phase, I don't remember all the phases.
This is phase 3,
right?
so
Yeah.
yes, he's made it through the part that, you know, could be the bit of a difference because of the sword difference here. Sabo just needs to play it cool, not get too crazy with his movements here, and he should be fine.
Oh, all these teleports from Ganon is super annoying.
Yeah. Walther will have that same RNG though, so not going to make any time there.
We'll get torch glitch. There's one and there's two.
There it is.
Get your GG's in chat for sab0tender. Just need to cross this bridge, and he's through, and he does it. sab0tender finishes as number 1, the official Israel time of 1 hour 34 minutes and 13 seconds.
There we go, the 54th seed beating the 22nd seed. Very nicely done. sab0tender moves on to the top 16 of this tournament. We're going to go ahead and wait for Walther to finish here before we talk to both runners. And see, he is right at the end here.
There we go.
There we go, man. Very close game. Less than a minute difference between the two.
Yeah, Walter really that gamble in GT, doing the right side first, like the Dark Magician strats, really paid off. And Walter finishes off with the official SRL time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 5 seconds.
Yeah, very nicely shown by Walther there as well. Very great, not just in terms of the decision he made, but also just straight up execution in Ganon's Tower as well. Made up a lot of time. Was behind about, like, I think 5 minutes, brought it down to under a single minute. So very, very well done.
And this is why you have sab0tender versus Walter here in best of 32 in this tournament. Amazing runners.
Yeah.
I guess that's just the way you can say it, at least.
Yeah, they're both great runners, definitely. Enjoyed watching them progress in this tournament, and just in Randomizer in general. They're both really, really good at what they do here. So with that, I do see them both in the waiting room. So let's go ahead and I guess pull them in and start talking to them about this seed.
Sounds like a good idea.
And we are joined by both sab0tender and Walther the Fourth. GG to both of you guys. Very exciting race. I guess to start, sab0tender, give it to me. How you feeling, man?
Wow. First of all, GG's to Walther. What an amazing an opponent I've had here. We've had such a good time. I don't even know, man. Like, my luck has to run out at some point. Like, I'm playing like pretty, but like I shouldn't be competing against people like this. Like, I mean, these guys are way better than me. I feel like I'm lucking out every single time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless almost.
And Walther, how are you feeling? I know, obviously, you know, unfortunately did not come up with a win, but definitely like great showing, especially on the end game there. That climb up GT was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with the tournament. My goal was to try and get out of groups, which I did, so I did better than I was hoping for, to be honest. So I can't be too disappointed with that.
Both of you guys making it to top third too, and like Walter, like you said, you can't be disappointed. I mean, you can't be, but you and sab0tender had one of the most exciting races. Like these last two races have been super exciting to watch. So it's been a pleasure to watch you two go at it.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a great series for sure. So, I mean, we were just talking about how we hate MITs for Dark World access. That, I mean, we had so much like early stuff that was working out for us, except, you know, that mitts, they really opened up everything. Or at least not everything, but it was kind of made it a little bit more, just goofier. And that hammer location was so brutal. Though I think it seems like I might have. Did I get that before Walther did?
Yeah.
How did that work out? Okay. I feel like I routed it in pretty okay, except I just done that stupid Thieves Town dive, which was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I was more hoping Hammer was going to be in Palace of Darkness. Just because, like, in terms of logic, we had that open super early because of like, you could have gone over there if you killed Aga. So just like fake flippered over there, hoping to get something good there. Which I did get the ice rod, so that was good.
Yeah, that ice rod honestly was like one of the biggest things. Is like, when you were just looking for Bombos, like if you would have made the early play on Turtle Rock, like that would have obviously kind of probably made a completely different story here.
Yeah, I thought about doing it, like going straight for Turtle Rock, but when you're like, you have a dark world portal literally right next to Swamp, it's kind of hard to say no to going there. I wasn't too sure about my decision about doing left side Swamp though. I kind of regretted that as soon as I started it, but I was like, well, I'm in here now, so.
Oh yeah, and then Swamp like debates us with the other medallion that we don't need when you go back in. That was great.
Yeah, I thought about mirroring out as soon as I got that, just in like protest.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, sab0tender, when you saw the book on the torch in the desert, because you went up to Tower of Terror first, what did you think? Because you could have checked Ether Tablet at the same time.
So bad. I really thought that Ether Tablet was going to be where the next piece of progression was going to be. I guess I was maybe just down to a couple things. Well, actually, no, we were still pretty early. So yeah, I was pretty certain that was maybe that was going to be something, and that I was going to last location it, and it was going to be awful. I guess I'm lucky that it didn't turn out to be that way.
Nah, I did the same thing, so you would have been good. Like I flew it to 6, and then I was like, no, I should do Hera first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like, especially for this seed, like the entire like Sphere 1 aspect of this seed was ridiculous. You guys were getting items everywhere. You both took different routes. Obviously, Sabo, you did the South Shore into Eastern first, and Walther went straight to Kakariko. And like both of you were finding like just value in both directions. I think that if anything, like you kind of going down to the South Shore and then to Eastern kind of gave you a slight advantage early on because of just the extra mobility to kind of get around the map with the flute and everything. And you also just kind of had like the greater incentive to go up Death Mountain. But then when just Death Mountain did not pay off whatsoever, except for I think the Master Sword, and both of you got that there. Like that was, man, those last 3 or 4 items were just ridiculously placed compared to everything else.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like my early game was pretty on point. The items just kind of fell in the right locations for me to really optimize the kind of play that I like to go for. So, yeah, definitely kind of got lucky with that early Eastern dip, getting that flute and the hook shot. It really just kind of put me on autopilot for quite a while. It wasn't until we got looking for the hammer and the flippers that I started to kind of panic a little bit, and my routing got a little bit sloppy in the mid game, I think. But yeah, man, I'm just glad that we were able to put on like a good show for chat and for you guys. And so yeah, I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, we said it before, like we got in the interview room here, but like literally it was about a 5-minute, maybe not even that much, but still kind of around there, rounding up a difference of both of you hitting into Ganon's tower. The fact that it just kind of came down to under a minute by the end just showed how hungry Walther was climbing GT, because makes that immediate right play after checking the Stalfos room, and then just the execution straight up to the very top was very nicely done. So it made the race very, very entertaining and very exciting at the very end there.
Yeah, it was big brain play there. That Dark Magician is the way to go. I hate going to the right side though, but Yeah, Walther, man, that was excellent. That really brought it real close. And
Yeah,
then you
shout outs to Dwayne for
inspired by Blaine. Yeah,
yeah, I've
cues
been
from
playing
him.
so much cross keys before this tourney, so I was like kind of unfamiliar almost with open when I came back. But boy, I just like follow suit for what Dwayne does, and it works.
Yeah, definitely. Guy knows what's up.
Yeah, so with that, sab0tender moving to the top 16. Your next opponent is going to either be Gamachu or the winner of Act the Boker and Megawatt. So you still got a little bit of time to kind of sit on that, maybe analyze your opponents as they kind of do their next races. How you feeling?
Yeah.
Is there anybody you're looking forward to facing of those three? Or
I mean, like, I would love to see Megawatt make it to top 16. Battle of the Nerds, we're good buddies. It'd be pretty sweet. All three of the people that I could potentially face are wonderful runners, and I'm pretty sure my time will be up, and I'll get 2-0'd. But man, I'm ecstatic. This is way beyond what I thought would happen in this tournament. So I'm just really excited to be here.
well, we're excited to have you here. It's been fun watching these races. And any last things you want to say, Walther, before you hang up your coat for this tournament?
Oh, I can't wait to start playing some NMG and Hearthstone instead of this. Two modes that have like 0% of RNG involved in it.
Nice.
Sounds like a pretty good plan to me, honestly. Okay, so with that, I think we're probably going to wrap things up here. Definitely, once again, GG to both of our runners here, sab0tender and Walther IV, for putting on this show. Give them a follow if you haven't already. Both amazing runners and both fun and both great people to watch. Also, big thank you to our crew for this particular race. Thanks to OSS Geek for doing all the tracking behind the scenes. Always good to have those trackers up to date with all the items. And also a major thank you to Nilson Alex 92 for being my co-com for this. A lot of fun calling this race. Very exciting race to watch, and glad you were on here with me for it.
Well, the same to you, Kirby. It's been a good race, and it's always fun to commentate with people that know a little bit more than I do. So make me look smart sometimes. So I guess that's it, like you said. And don't forget, there's 2 more races tonight.
Yeah, that is true. We do have 2 other races at 650 on Speed Gaming 2. We have Ninban versus Kappa. That is a game 2, so we'll see how that happens and how that series continues. And at 10:20 tonight, both of those are Eastern U.S. time, by the way. We got JTB versus Salty Fry, also a game 2. So both of those series could be potentially wrapping up, but it could also be moving on to a game 3. So may want to check those out, because obviously this series went to game 3, so other games have a chance to go there as well.
Well, I wouldn't say no to more game 3s, especially if it's this close as well, because the closer the better, right?
Yeah, definitely. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Thanks to you all for watching this race. Apologies for all the kind of internet issues going on throughout. Thanks for sticking with us and sticking through the entire race. A lot of fun. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.